Think about it. Imagine a painting that has divided people for 500 years. Some say her smile shows a delicate happiness. Others claim, this woman definitely knows something, but she's not telling. There are even people on the internet saying, Mona Lisa has been trolling us for 500 years. And let's be honest, they're not entirely wrong. Mona Lisa, the most famous painting in art history. But let's admit something. Aren't we giving this painting a bit too much meaning? I mean, nobody has psychoanalyzed Van Gogh's sunflowers for 500 years. So what makes the Mona Lisa so special? Is it the smile, the eyes, the missing eyebrows? Or did she actually have eyebrows that just faded over time? We'll get to that, don't worry. Today, we're diving into the mystery behind the most famous smile in history. But not like your typical serious art documentary. We're going to explore the mystery, the science, the conspiracy theories, and, just a bit humorously, try to answer the question, what was Leonardo thinking when he painted this? If you're ready, let's begin. But a warning before we start. After this video, Mona Lisa will never look the same to you again. She might even feel a little more familiar. Now, to understand the Mona Lisa, we first need to understand Leonardo da Vinci. This man was not normal. And by not normal, I mean genius-level abnormal. Leonardo was, all at once, a painter, an engineer, an anatomist, a musician, an architect, a philosopher, and basically the artificial intelligence of his time. Because he was obsessed with everything. One day he's studying the human body. The next day he's drawing flying machines. The next he's staring at rivers for hours wondering, why do water waves move like this? Today, if our phone charger breaks, we question life. This man was designing helicopters in the 1500s. Leonardo would start a painting, take a 2-year break, learn something new, come back, add a tiny detail, leave again, think some more. That's why the Mona Lisa took around 4 years to complete. And honestly, Leonardo probably never considered it finished. Fun fact, he was so famous for not finishing his projects that if he lived today, he would definitely be the poster child of procrastination videos. But the many experts joke that if Leonardo lived in our era, he'd have a YouTube channel. EO titles would always be coming next week, and then he'd upload it 2 years later. Long story short, the mystery of the Mona Lisa partly comes from Leonardo's endless perfectionism. Now let's answer the first big question. Why is this painting so famous? One word: technique. The Mona Lisa uses a painting technique called sfumato. In Italian, it means like smoke. There are no harsh lines. Everything blends softly, like mist. The transitions between light and shadow are so delicate that modern scientists use high-resolution scanners and lasers to analyze them. Because of this technique, Mona Lisa's face has an ambiguous expression. This creates what we call an optical illusion. One moment she looks happy, the next, thoughtful, and sometimes like she's giving you a look that says, I know something about you. And our brain keeps trying to decode her expression. The Mona Lisa isn't changing, our brain is. So the big question, did Leonardo do this on purpose? Absolutely, yes. While studying anatomy, he examined real human corpses to understand muscles and facial expressions. He learned exactly how tiny shifts in shading could change a person's perceived emotion. In today's language, Leonardo basically invented a mix of Photoshop blur plus beauty filter plus optical illusion in the 1500s. So in a way, the Mona Lisa is history's first filtered portrait based on visual perception. But this is only the beginning. Because what you're about to learn will make you say, okay, Leonardo planned this. And he might have been messing with us. Just a little. Here we are. The biggest question of the last 500 years. Who was Mona Lisa? Because if we know who she was, maybe we can understand that smile a little better. So let's go through the 5 most talked about theories. Short, fun, and to the point. Theory 1. Lisa Gherardini, the real Mona Lisa. This is the most official theory. It's believed that Mona Lisa was actually Lisa Gherardini from Florence. Yes. Mona is simply short for Madonna, meaning lady. So the title basically reads, Lady Lisa. Lisa was the wife of a wealthy merchant. So, could that make a woman happy? Well, her husband might have commissioned the portrait as a gift. And here we are, 500 years later, analyzing her gift reaction smile. Imagine this. Your spouse surprises you with a birthday cake. You smile. And 500 years later, people say, there is a hidden code in that smile. Theory 2. Leonardo's male student, Salai. Now this is where things get complicated. Some art historians claim Mona Lisa was actually a man. Yes, you heard that right. Leonardo's student and assistant Gian Giacomo Caprotti, also known as Salai. In several of Leonardo's other sketches, Salai's facial features look very similar to Mona Lisa's, which raises the humorous question, did Leonardo paint a female filter portrait from a male model? Meaning, was he history's first face app user? Conspiracy theorists say, Leonardo was in love with Salai and wanted to immortalize his face. A romantic theory, but not proven. Theory 3. A secret self-portrait. Some say Mona Lisa is actually Leonardo himself. Yes, Leonardo might have thought, what would I look like if I painted myself as a woman? When scientists used facial mapping tools to compare Mona Lisa with Leonardo's self-portrait, the proportions matched surprisingly well. Which means Mona Lisa's smile might be saying, plot twist, you knew me all along. You just didn't realize it. Theory 4. A hidden message, symbolic woman. According to this theory, Mona Lisa represents a symbolic woman. Not a person, a concept. Some associate her with the essence of womanhood, motherhood, spiritual balance. Leonardo was known for hiding codes and symbolism in his works. So the idea that Mona Lisa is not a real woman, but a symbolic feminine figure, is a favorite among art historians. Theory 5. The conspiracy theory. The Illuminati smile. Oh yes, we couldn't skip this one. Some claim Mona Lisa's face contains secret codes, and her smile carries an esoteric message. From the architectural design of the Louvre to the composition of the painting, many link it to the Illuminati. Our take? This theory is 90% entertaining nonsense, 10% maybe? So we're not fully closing the door. Jokes aside, the use of mathematical symbols and the golden ratio in the painting does feed this theory. Quick summary. Mona Lisa may have been a real woman, a student, Leonardo himself, or purely a symbol. But regardless of who she was, that smile has kept humanity stuck on the same question for 500 years. Here comes the plot twist. Mona Lisa was not super famous at first. Yes, shocking. Painted in the 1500s, but her worldwide fame started in 1911. Why? Because she was stolen. In 1911, a museum worker at the Louvre named Vincenzo Peruggia took the painting off the wall and walked out with it under his coat. Yes, you heard that right. No alarm, no guards, no sensors. The man literally carried the Mona Lisa out like he was taking a poster home. The next day, newspapers exploded. Mona Lisa has been stolen. The museum stood empty, but the painting was gone. The story went global. People asked, who is this painting that everyone cares about so much? And that's how Mona Lisa became world famous. When Peruggia was caught, he said, I wanted to return her to Italy, where she belongs. In Italy, he was treated like a hero. So, yes, the man stole the painting and was celebrated for it. Apparently, in some countries, things just work like that. The result? Mona Lisa became famous because she was stolen. Sometimes, PR is everything. 1911 edition. Now it's time for science to speak. Why does Mona Lisa's smile seem to change when we look at it? Scientists have studied this for years and found some fascinating explanations. 1. The smile changes, depending on where you look. If you look directly at Mona Lisa's eyes, her smile appears faint. But if you look at her mouth, the smile becomes more noticeable. Why? Because the brain processes eye details differently than mouth details. Leonardo placed the shadows so cleverly that the expression changes with your focus. This isn't just an illusion. It's a brain hack. 2. The brain interprets Mona Lisa as alive. In EEG experiments, the brain activity of people looking at Mona Lisa matched the pattern of looking at a real human. Meaning the brain says, "This isn't a painting, someone is looking at me." Creepy? A little. But the fact that a painting triggers this? That's pure genius. 3. Sfumato technique plus human psychology. Soft transitions, grey tones, blurred edges. All of it forces our brain to fill in the gaps, which triggers a mental loop like, is she smiling at me? Does she know something I don't? Or am I overthinking this? Answer, a little bit of all of the above. So what do you think? Is Mona Lisa happy, sad, or is she subtly making fun of us? Comment below. Let's figure it out together. Now, let's get to the part where we say, okay, something weird is definitely going on here. Because there are some fascinating details in the Mona Lisa that people have talked about for years. 1. Where are the eyebrows? Many people think the Mona Lisa has no eyebrows. So what happened? Was eyebrow plucking a trend in the 1500s? Or did Leonardo think, eyebrows are overrated, she's more mysterious without them? Actually, scientists found very thin traces of eyebrows during high-resolution scans. So yes, she did have eyebrows. They simply faded over time. Turns out even 500 years ago, makeup wasn't long-lasting. 2. Alleged letters in her eyes. In 2010, some researchers claimed to find tiny letters in Mona Lisa's eyes. In the right eye, LV, Leonardo da Vinci, Vinci. In the left eye, possibly CE or a B. Illuminati fans went wild with this one. Look, secret code, our take, probably 90% coincidence or paint cracks, but 10%, maybe Leonardo left a little Easter egg to keep us busy for centuries. And honestly, would it surprise us if he did? Not really. 3. The background landscape might be a hidden code. Many art historians believe the landscape behind Mona Lisa is not a real place, but a symbolic one. Almost like it represents a journey between the earthly world and the human soul. Some point out that the left and right sides of the background are at different heights. The perspective doesn't match. But what if that's intentional? Maybe it symbolizes the imbalance of the human spirit. Or maybe Leonardo said, let me make this slightly confusing so people 500 years later argue about it. Honestly, both are possible. 5 centuries, same smile, same stare, and the same unanswered question. Maybe the real secret of the Mona Lisa isn't in the painting, but in us. Because what we see often reflects who we are. If we look at her on a good day, she seems warm and kind. On a bad day, the smile feels distant. Maybe Leonardo left us a message through that smile. We don't smile because we understand. We understand because we learn to see. Maybe the Mona Lisa's mystery isn't meant to be solved. Maybe that's exactly why it's so powerful. Because some mysteries lose their magic once you find the answer. But hers still lives, just as it has for 500 years, and probably will for 500 more. Now it's your turn. Why do you think Mona Lisa is smiling? Is she happy, sad, or is she quietly teasing us across centuries? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's see what theory wins. If you enjoyed this kind of video, where we mix mystery, fun, and history, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next one. Who knows? Maybe one day we truly will solve this smile, or at least we'll have fun trying.